Hello, welcome back to my studio. Today I'm doing episode 4 of Clouds. We're going to do a sunset scene, so we're going to get some colors in there first. Let me show you what I've got going on my palette. Just going to clean off a little bit of my mess over here and show you what I have. I have some messy whites. We'll pretend that there's some crisp white here. You'll need it. Cad yellow, yellow ochre, bright red, phthalo blue. This is still my gray mix of even parts phthalo green and alizarin crimson, and then I have those two colors over here just to use. And like I said, we're going to do kind of like a sunset scene, so we're going to start with it. I've already prepped this with liquid white. It's ready to go. And we're going to start with, just a little bit of white. Just tap that into the brush, and some cad yellow, a real light color first. And just to do something different, we'll have our light source right in this area. Now we're going to add some yellow ochre to that same color. And I'm using a little X stroke to go around. Just doing a circle today. If you had water below, you might use these colors before you add your next color to reflect that into your water, but we'll get into a little bit more of those techniques later. Today, just the sky. Yellow ochre, I'm gonna add just a touch of red to that now. Kind of like a peachy color. Again, those little X strokes, a little bit more color there. And a little bit more red even still. Just getting darker as we work out. Don't worry about blending it yet. We'll do that in a minute. A little more color. Try and be really careful. You probably won't have to worry about this, but I've got this blue to conflict with over here. I don't want to get any of that going on yet. Bright red. Now I'm going to go over here and grab a little bit of crimson. Kind of darken it up a little. Yeah, that's real nice. Crimson. Bright red, still dirty brush. Again, I'm just trying to be really careful over here again. You might have a little bit more room to play with that edge there. Crimson, again, I'm just adding to it as we move further away. I'm going to get just a touch of blue, and you saw that, it was just a touch. It goes a real long way. And I'm going to hit that here, get our corner. A little bit too much blue. Like I said, it just really will take off. That's okay though. We can work with that. And just a little bit more blue. right up there in that corner. And we might use some of this color to work down on some of the corners if you're doing a full landscape scene. I'm just using this lavender maybe for the mountain, for the ocean. I'm just going to put a tiny bit up in this corner to help us. And then we'll blend. Got a clean brush here. Hopefully it's clean enough. You want to use a clean brush or it's going to turn into a little bit of a green, but fingers crossed. I'm going to put this pretty flat on the canvas and work in just kind of like a back and forth, like a blending stroke, working in a circle, trying to keep the lightest point always in the center. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Is as I move this around, just kind of softening it up, and I like to choke up on the brush, it's a little easier to hold. I'm just going to flip the brush, keeping the center where it's the lightest part, and we don't want to take this, you can see where there's red here, and you don't want to put that red into the center. So we'll keep the light point up on your blending brush. And just working out until it's where you want it. You just keep on working it, making it softer, and when you get it to where you want, then stop. If you have a little bit of this texture in there, that'll help you for clouds though too, so definitely keep that in mind. You don't need to have them be really super harsh lines, but you don't want to have any completely gone. You know, you can just kind of find somewhere in the middle that works for you. And you can see I've been flipping my brush, keeping that light point, which now it's still up here towards the center. And I am doing an X stroke here. It's just kind of faster. Just gonna kind of bring some of that dark down just a little. And now I'm going up into more of some of this blue color, so I just wanted to make sure I was done with the center there before I got this real dark color, because we're probably not going to want to go back into the center after that. And I'm just softening this until it's kind of where I like it. Just going to kind of move some of this around, give it a little bit of texture here and there, because that's how I like it. And if you don't, that's okay. You can do it however you want to do it. But I'm going to kind of leave my sky somewhat like that. If you really like, which I do, I like to put these in the sun in. Kind of helps you, and also the effect is just really neat. And just scrape off the extra. And blend it out real soft. Just barely touch it. Oof, you see I gunked it up there, but I'm just going to pull it out. Only you and I will know. I'm going to take a clean fan brush and go into some white here and kind of working in a similar order as how we put on the sky. We're going to put in some clouds. So starting with white, we'll go into that first kind of like peachy color that we had, a mixture of a tiny bit of cad yellow, yellow ochre, and bright red. You can use whatever, you know, version of that you like. I'm just going to show you what I would do with this if it were me. So peachy, I like that. You know, it'll show up, but it's still not too bright, not too dark. And I'm just going to use the corner of the fan brush. I really turn it on its edge here and use the corner and do little circles with that and put in some little clouds. And these are real, I just flipped the brush around a little bit here. Real gentle. See, you know, they almost even disappear as they work out, which is what you want. I'm going to pick up that color again. We're just working in this kind of first area, just putting in a few little clouds that are going to be picked up, kind of show what we've got going on. Now we're going to make these darker. We've already got kind of a color going on here, so just go ahead and grab that. This is a redder version of that peach. It's just more red and yellow ochre and a tiny bit of crimson, which we still have some of over there. And gonna go and work on this cloud that's kind of moving towards us a little, and just wiggle the brush around, kind of scrub it in if you want. Get some more paint. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of that lavender type color, getting a little darker now. I'm just making a lavender here. I ran out of colors, so crimson and phthalo blue. We did have a little bit of this gray in there too. We'll make some kind of bigger clouds that are a little further away from the sun. Just growling those in there. I'm going to get back into kind of this little peach color and add something in here. I just, you know, kind of see it, and I'm going to go for that there. You just mix up your next paint and put it in. Now some lavender. We're just mixing all this on the brush just to keep it easy. I didn't really like the color of that one, so I just went back over it, and you can do that. You can do whatever you want. Mix it all up. Now we've got some cool clouds, base of them in at least. And by now, hopefully you should know the drill, but I'll remind you just in case. Blend it out. Just gonna soften all of these up a little bit with this big brush. You can use a clean fan brush if you like. That's totally up to you. But I just want to soften some of this, get some of those brush strokes out, maybe leave some of them. Just really soften up what we've got going on and blend in some of those sections where we've got a little bit more of a harsh line going on. You don't really want that. If you like that, again, you can keep it. Now I feel like I've blended them to where I like. I just want to lift them up a little bit, soften out all those edges, and just real lightly go over the whole thing. All right, last step on these clouds is highlight. We'll take, use your, the same brush you were using, just wipe out some of that paint and go right into the white. We do want it to be kind of like an off-white color, so that's all okay there. I want this one to be a little bit more on the peachy side, so I'm just gonna grab some yellow and work that in and touch on these where we want the highlights on these clouds. And the sun's right here in the middle. So we're just gonna push up where we want those highlights to hit on these clouds. And on this side, we'll push down. It's a little harder, but just touch it, works. Grab a little bit more paint and work our way out. Really like to push, give it some movement and not just always staying in the same spot, working on the same plane. You don't really see a lot of, I mean, you see the leaves and rocks and stuff, but you're not going to see a lot of straight lines in the clouds. Now, somebody will prove me wrong with that, but that's okay. Just for the artistic purposes, we'll kind of move it around a little bit and keep it interesting. And as we're working out, I am going to kind of darken this color just a little bit, but we're still putting highlights on, so you can play around with the colors to whatever you like best. And if you really don't like it, you can take it off and try again. So I'm just pushing down to get some highlights to come out on some of these clouds. You do want it to get darker as we're moving out, but it still helps to have a little bit of this kind of detail, not detail. It looks like more detail, but you're doing less. Take a clean blending brush and blend out the bottoms. And if you want to get a smaller brush for this, you're welcome to. I've used a small sable brush, which I have here. It's pretty handy. It's soft, so it works really well. I like the big brush, mostly because there's a lot of bristles on it, and I've grown to be comfortable with it. So the more that you use it, I imagine you'll become more comfortable, just like I have. But maybe you don't like it and you don't use it, and that's okay. We're just blending out bottom here, and while I'm doing this, hopefully you're following along. Blending out the bottoms. Really make sure you're varying up your stroke or your little circles. Just mix it up. Don't just keep doing the same circle after circle. Mix it, you know, go one way and the other way, and really vary it up a little bit. It'll really help these look a lot more realistic to you. This one's just a little small, so I'm just kind of tapping it out right there, which works really well actually. So. I feel like that's pretty adequate, and I'm going to just lift these up. And real softly blend it off. Just take out all those extra brush strokes that you just put in. I want to give some of these clouds right in here a little extra pop, so I'm going to go back into my titanium white and just a little bit of yellow ochre. It's really, it's white, but it's an off-white. I don't usually use a lot of just pure white. It's a little bit harsh, so I like to kind of mix that in with something else, unless you're going to be blending it around later. But this we're just going to pop in right on the tips of where that sun is just going to be coming through here. And a little bit goes a long way. We don't want to do this on all of them like we did with the other stuff, because that's just going to get too, too much. But where you think it's really going to, set it off, just to add in a few little pops of that little highlight there. You'll be pretty happy with it. I'm going to put a little on the bottom of this cloud. Maybe just a little here. Get a little bit more. I'm just going to take this brush that I've already got going here, put in just a final bit, and just a real light hit with the brush, lifting up some of those fresh ones we just put in there. And just move them around just a little bit. And just soften it. All right, we are all finished with my first season of tutorial. It's real short, 4 different techniques of how to paint clouds. Palette knife, 1-inch brush, 2-inch brush and fan brush, and just a combination of the 2-inch and the fan brush for kind of a sunset scene. So this is 4 different ideas of how to paint clouds. Everyone, just wanted to take some time to thank everybody. I've got a lot of new subscribers. Really, I have a brand new channel, so all of it's really new to me, and I just wanted to thank everybody for your support. I've got one member so far in my supplies and coffee community. I'm really happy, Brian Cullen. I hope I'm saying that right, but thank you very much. And for the rest of you, to be able to see all of these all at once, I'm going to be releasing some more tutorials. I've got some mountain ones coming, trees, river rocks, you know, some different types of versions of the similar thing where we're going to do 4 different styles all combined, and then I'll release each one as an individual episode weekly to my regular channel, and then I'll be offering that early release, the full video, all 4 in one video. That will be on my membership channel. So you get that early access to the video if you really just don't want to wait. If you want to help support me, there'll be some other videos upcoming, but I'm just still working on getting all of those together. So we'll see you there.